Hey everyone, welcome back once again to the channel. I'm your host AZ and welcome to the opening reaction of Golden Kamuy 1 to 3. Yeah, this one has been a long time coming. I really want to see this show because of how distinct the animation style and how they're drawn and the bold lines and everything from what I've seen. So I really wanted to check out these openings. Yeah, I don't know anything about the show. I think my sisters watched these, but I haven't. And yeah, there's this very intense looking guy with a scar, I believe. And from what I have seen, the still shots and the way people talk about it, it's set in the winter, cold, harsh winter. It reminds me of Revenant, the Leonardo DiCaprio movie. If you have seen it, it's like that's where the interest comes for me. Like, how is this show? Because it feels so different. I mean, why would I not check this out, right? So I'm very stoked to see these openings and try to analyze what the show is about. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, what was that? Holy shit. Look at the art style, dude. It looks so good. These are one core shows, right? No wonder the art's so good. That's CG. That's almost as good as. Is this a CG show? No. It almost reminded me of Demon Slayer CG. It's that good. Okay, this is a pretty good song. Shit. Okay, this is. I know I say that openings are generally good, but this is one of those openings which goes beyond that. Holy shit, man! Look at how different it is. It almost doesn't even feel like an anime. I have to check this show out in the future. Oh, Man with the Mission from Vinland Saga. Okay, so we have this guy and this young girl. Their adventure in the snow. Ah, goddammit. These thumbnails. Shit. This is super interesting. Because these characters feel very well developed with their character designs. Okay, that was one hell of an opening. I'm not going to lie. This might be probably in my top 15 of all openings I've ever seen in anime. It's that good. Immediately because of its distinct art style, its vibe, and the story elements that I'm getting from it, and very detailed and very well modeled character designs. And it immediately starts off, and look at how painterly these backgrounds are and the outlines. It reminds me of Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho has these colorful outlines that complement the color of whatever object they have. It looks so good. It's like sometimes it's oil painted, sometimes it's watercolored, sometimes it's sketchy. I'm a huge fan of this art style. The way these they show the credits with these dirty red colors, showing the grit. Like, this is a very gritty and grounded anime from what I can see. It's very harsh, and the winter environment complements that. You can see it in the title also. Like, very grimy. And look at how good the CG elements look. That looks real, and obviously the animation and the animation, the detailing of the characters, the environment models is really good. I don't often say this, but it's extremely good. So we have our main character. He looks like a soldier from a battalion, a lost wanderer in the woods. And then we have this tribal young girl riding a wolf behind this. Look at this scene, man. Like, every scene is a wallpaper. This huge moon in the background, this beautiful vista lighting her way. She's traveling alone. So these two form an unlikely bond. And then this seems to be a serious show, definitely. Even his face is so detailed with the scars and the line work, dude. Look at the line work. So clean. With film grain. So a lot of design went into his character. Scarf and the hat, his single I don't know what What gun is that? Yeah, what period is the set in? It looks like, I don't know why, but that star reminds me of this being Russia, not Russia, Soviet Union, and that time maybe during the Cold War. But that rifle looks more like World War One, World War Two, more like. I'm not a expert on this, so you guys might tell me what time period this is set in and what country this is set in the comments. Yeah, it looks so like this has this film or movie quality to it. The amount of varying styles in this opening alone. Look at this dude, so good. The fuck. I don't know which one to decide to use as a thumbnail, honestly. So talking about the characters, they definitely have complementary and at the same time opposite personalities. He's seen some shit. Like you can see it in his eyes and the scars of war. He's seen some shit. So he's a lone wanderer. Very, he does not wear his expressions on his sleeve. And the girl, on the other hand, feels very bubbly and energetic. Like she has life in her eyes. So like you can see clearly the contrast in the expressions. And maybe she gives him hope. You see these kinds of dynamics often in shows and movies. She saves her. You can see this. Like it's almost like he's staring at her with his whole world revolving around him. And then she bends over and gives him a hand. Come with me. It's like he's lost his purpose, and maybe he helps the girl out with her mission. And even her design, like there's so much detail, and you have to draw that detail every frame, right? And all of these look like villains. The amount of different art styles in this opening alone has me hyped for the other two openings and this show as well. Yeah, that's a bolt action rifle, right? That's World War One, I think. So where is this set? It's either Russia or I have no idea. He goes to save her, she fires a shot, and we have a wolf as a pet. So this unlikely trio. And look how he's running. Each scene is so good, dude. I could pause and just stare for at least a good minute. Damn, they really put a lot of effort and work into. Like this is clearly a passion project for whichever studio. I have to check the studio. I don't know which studio this is. A lot of enemies, so it has a military background to it. Definitely in the midst of a war. I wonder if the tribal girl is caught, like her people, her race, her people, her community is caught in this war, and he's trying to save her, find her family, maybe like an indigenous tribe. Okay, so that was opening one. Which studio is this? 1900s Hokkaido after the Russo-Japanese War. Okay, so I won't see much about into the synopsis. I want to go in blind whenever I watch the show. But from the opening line, it's set in the 1900s in Russo-Japan War. Yeah, that makes sense. So the girl is Japanese, and the guy is Russian. That's what the costume and the design remind me of. Like it's set somewhere in the midst of Russia. So I don't know much about the Russo-Japanese War, but yeah, that's what the setting is, and it's done by, where is this? Geno Studio. Okay, I haven't heard of Geno Studio. It's a seinen. That's good. Obviously, it would be a seinen. Geno Studio. What have they done apart from Golden Kamuy? Not a lot. Oh, they did Star Wars Visions, one of the episodes. Okay, so mostly they have done Golden Kamuy. So this was definitely a studio, set on making this show as good as possible. Like, I tip my hat off to them. This was really good. All right, opening 2 of Golden Kamuy is the second season. My expectations are sky high because how good the first opening was. So let's get into it. Oh, it's loud. Okay, a lot more action heavy, but the visuals are still as good. God damn it, man! The way they merge 3D and 2D in the different styles is so fucking good. Okay, now they're in greener pastures. Okay, this has some comedy elements to it. Alright. This feels more like an anime episode, an anime opening. Still so good looking. Song's pretty interesting. It's like a duet. Two people are singing. Okay, lot more light-hearted. I wonder what the crux of the story is. Oh, that was a good character design. What the fuck? How is this a serious show or is this really over the top? I'm down for it. These are very eccentric characters. Yep. God damn it, I want to watch the show so bad. Interesting. Father? If this was not pitted against the against the first opening, I would say this is such an amazing opening. But I would still say the first opening really hooked me. In a way, I don't think the second or the third might. Because now I'm more familiar with the art style and know what to expect. Alright, the second opening, upon further analysis, is also pretty super freaking interesting. So now we are clearly in spring, as denoted by this time lapse of flowers blooming and the glacier melting, and as she runs, the flowers start blooming, snow is gone, we are now in spring. But the war still remains, and if I remember correctly, most wars were not fought in winter, right? Winter was pretty difficult to move in. So maybe the war is now in full swing as spring has come. And the art style is still as amazing. I love the sketchy, painterly look that this has in the background. And this, the period is so interesting. Like, how many shows do you see dealing with something like the Russo-Japanese War in the 1900s? I mean, the period setting itself has so much potential. And the dynamic between these two characters. But what surprised me a lot was how comedic this show is, like as I see from the opening, with all these eccentric characters. So it's not a super serious show because I mean that might get boring, right? So it has a lot of crazy comedic over the top elements, almost something like what show would I compare this to? Maybe Gintama. I always compare comedy shows to Gintama, but this has that setting which grounds it, and then it has this over the top stuff both at the same time. I don't know how they balance it out. And now this scene immediately, like, what the fuck? They're just munching on celery or some kind of vegetable. And then we have our third character who's joined us on Seal. Yeah, there he is. A lot of scenes are in black and white, like in grey tone. I wonder why. And then he unveils this extremely delicious food. Her eyes are twinkling, and they're all just having a blast eating this food. Probably haven't had it in months, all three of them. And then we cut back to some serious scenes of these guys fighting. And look at how they show the sword. The way he cuts through the screen, almost like he decapitated this guy. I wonder if they're fighting against that. That has to be intentional, right? It's right around the neckline. This guy, like immediately you can see from the heavy mascara and the dead eyes, like this guy is dead inside. Like this guy is clearly a villain or someone who's maybe even hunting our characters. A lot of over the top characters. I mean, look at these two. What am I supposed to make out of this? Like, in what context does this make sense? Badly stitched clothes from a lot of torn pieces of clothing. Almost looks like human skin. And he's crying with flowers. And look at this character. I'm like, I'm so cute, I might kill a few people later. And then someone just casually somersaults a bear, because obviously you're in Russia. Russians and bear fights, I swear. And then we have this scene in a flashback. His father, her father, he's gone, and maybe she's trying to find him. And then you see these knives, traditional knives, the way they look like Japanese knives. Maybe he committed seppuku. But then our main character comes and tells her, come on, run, we still have to fight. and then they walk off. Nice. Yeah, pretty good opening. If it were not for the first opening, I would say this is extremely good. This is still an extremely good opening. It's just that the first one was so fucking good. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, opening 3. I wonder if the show has ended. Like, are we going to get a 4th season or something? Or is the show complete after season 3? And I'm not sure if there are any other openings. I'll try and check if there are. But as far as I know, these are the 3 openings. Right, so far it's been extremely good. I love the first 2 openings. I hope season 3's opening is as good. Let's find out. Oh, blue and red. 2 different lives. Really showing the dichotomy. The contrast. Did they part ways? Yep. Something happened. Again, keep repeating the same thing. Animation, drawing, aesthetics, song, style. So fucking good. Look how detailed it is, man. The background. They didn't really have to go all that far out of their way, but they did. Oh, so she has left him. Oh, that's the dad. Okay, these 2 are the villains. Holy So that could be more of a tribe. That nice. Okay, this is better than the second opening. I like the song a lot. So many wacky characters. This is really about separation. And all the characters from the second opening are still here. They formed a different group. Okay, interesting. They both have gone with 2 different groups. Alright, another fantastic opening. Opening of season 3. So right off the bat, we see something very clear. Like these 2 have separated. There's a line in between. They're both looking away from each other. The color grading is complementary opposites, blue and red. She walks that way and he walks that way. If that was not clear, there's a blizzard line between these 2, and then they even walk away literally. So something has happened between them. Maybe a disagreement, maybe circumstances beyond their control. Maybe she finally found what she was looking for, and maybe he's busy with the war and has to go somewhere else. I don't know. I won't know until I see this show. And there's Russian writing, if there was any doubt that this was taking place in Russia. Looks so good. Everything looks so good. Especially this. Holy shit, man. They didn't have to go this far. But they did with the opening. Look how detailed that sketch is. This looks like some marketplace, home, some street. I love sketch work. Like I'm a huge fan of the art style of Eizouken, if you have seen that. So this is definitely exactly what I want, aesthetically speaking, in a show. And interestingly enough, the one I called a villain because of his eyes is traveling with the girl. So she went with this group. Like, is she captured? She doesn't look captured. I wonder why. And this is a pretty interesting image. I almost thought this was someone like an executioner, you know, the way they wear that mask on top of them. And then surprisingly, it's her father. As confirmed here. I wonder why he's wearing that. But then we get a frame here, which is the father, and he's in these bandages, almost like if I'm assuming that he died, like, is this something of a resurrection, like a Lazarus pit? Because she's surprised, and he has a completely different personality maybe after being resurrected. And we have the characters, the one who fought a bear and the 2 swordsmen. So they are clearly allies, and they are the main villains. And look at this guy. He has a sketch of two stick figures on both of his cheeks and eyelashes. And then that guy. Wait, were these two the same who were in the second opening with those stitched clothes dancing together? That guy was, I know. Very eccentric fellows. And this is the one who I mistakenly thought was the main girl. So they're from the same tribe. And this is a sword, a knife. I wonder if this is this is a memento from the girl that he's holding as he goes into battle. Really use 3D environment very well. And then finally we hover over the shot of the girl. She's alone in the snow and she looks back and there's no one there, completely foggy. And then we pan to the sunrise. This almost looks real. I know it's not real, but it looks so real. And then our main character is going with this trio, almost like if they are on a mission, a military mission. So it doesn't really look like the end of the show. Maybe the manga is still going on, and maybe they'll adapt the fourth season in the future. But yeah, I really want to watch the show as soon as I am able to, because this is really interesting. I think that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed this one a hell of a lot more than most openings that I've seen. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this art style, and I see a lot of potential with this show. And it is pretty funny from what I've seen in the second opening. A lot of eccentric characters. Alright, this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you all in a different one.